Hello, everyone. Talking to Liz this afternoon, and we're going to talk to her about some of the problems that she fixes with her clients. But I'm just going to get Liz to introduce herself to you before we start. So over to you, Liz.
Yeah, I'm Liz Gilmore. I'm a transformational coach. I live in Scotland, Perth in Scotland. And as you'll find out, I am a coach. I love mountain biking. I used to be a solicitor, so that's the basics.
Oh, wonderful. That's quite an impactful start. So Liz, what are some of the problems that you work with your clients, and what sort of problems do you solve with them?
So I suppose it comes down to the fact that it's very clear to me that lots of women are have so much potential, so much capability, and so much desire to do more, to bring their gifts and skills to the world, and but they feel somehow that they get stuck. Like they feel that they feel, how am I going to bring this thing, and actually end up in the jobs that they do can often end up feeling undervalued, feeling that it's they to do the work that they want to. So if they get a demanding job, for example, then there's a sacrifice in terms of looking after their families and so forth. So it's difficult. So many of us end up feeling stuck and unable to really step up and feel that we're operating in our full potential and bringing everything that we want to bring. And in a way, there's a pain to that, because it's like there's something that I know I'm really capable of, but I'm not doing that thing. And in a way, it leaves a sense of something undone, something unfulfilled, a song unsung, I suppose.
Yeah. And somebody who was stuck in their roles or their jobs, or even not giving themselves what they would love, what is their life like? What are the sorts of things that they'd be experiencing?
Well, what I find a lot with people that I work with is that, they're determined and ambitious and keen to make a difference in the world. So they tend to be very hardworking, and driven. So they work really hard and can end up feeling very, very exhausted. Um, and feeling that, I'll get there one day. You just need to work a little bit harder, and I get there one day. But there's a sense of never actually getting there, which causes a lot of frustration. And this mixture of frustration and exhaustion can, it's going to, the worse it gets, the more other areas of your life impacts on, whether that's your health, whether that's your relationships, whether that's, your life energy, your energy to go and do things that you love. So it really does end up kind of filtering out to every area of your life.
And so if somebody was experiencing this that we're talking about now, and they didn't take any actions to make a difference in their life or change something, what is likely to happen in the future?
Well, I think, first and foremost, there's just an intense feeling of, I could have done something that I haven't done. So unfulfilled, feeling of sort of emptiness. And also, relationship, it can affect our relationships. So relationships can fall apart. It can affect our health, so that, worst case scenario, you can't even go to work anymore because your health is so badly affected. So yeah, it can be really serious. It's just, I suppose, the way I see it really is that, life wants us to live in our potential and our capacity. That's what we're made for. And, life will just continue kicking us harder until we to listen. So when we're experiencing relationship problems, when we're experiencing health problems, life's a bit like, so are you going to listen now? Okay, you didn't. Okay, well, I'll give you another kick until you finally listen. So it does tend to be that people finally listen when they get to the point when they're like, right, I've had enough. I'm not going to put up with that anymore. So the question is, how bad do things have to get before you're ready to listen and to say, okay, this is not working anymore. I've got to do something different. And that's the point at which my clients usually come to me.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so when they do come to you and they want to make some small changes, what sort of things do you do with them to help them make some changes? And then what's the impact of those small changes?
Um, so there's a number of things. So just to skim over the surface, because all of them are really quite deep, quite profound. But I think maybe if I was to bring it to three key points, it would be, first of all, just bringing back that calm sense of calm and well-being by just helping them to get out of their overthinking head back down into their body, so that, and then sensing their emotions, because it has an immediately calming effect, and it's also that connects us with our own wisdom and our knowing of the best way forward. And then we work together to create a goal or a vision for where you want to go, where you're headed, and what you really want. And that's not, to do that, I really take my clients within themselves. What is it you really deeply desire from your heart? Not just what do people expect of me, what would look good, what would solve the peripheral problems, but what do you really deeply desire? So it's a getting out of your head, setting the vision. The next thing is looking at what keeps us stuck. So what is that inner critic saying? That voice in our head that says, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, that the one that it's irrational, but it's still at the same time it's there, and it really holds us back, sabotages us. So we work with that so we can break through that. I've got a lot of techniques I use with people to powerfully break through that and to find the wisdom that's in there as well. And then from there, we go take the next steps along the path towards a vision, and everything that needs to come up in doing that then naturally comes up, and we deal with that as it comes, as we step towards the vision and the desire that we've set.
Lovely. And so what is the person's life going to be like when they're starting to experience that, real shift, and they're starting to really start making results and get their vision?
Well, if I just think, what my clients say when after they work with me, there's things like, they're going from laying awake for hours in bed at night with things going round and round in their heads, to going, my head hits the pillow and I fall asleep and I feel refreshed. And it goes to, I now have the confidence to take my own well-being, my own joy seriously. And I've now understood that when I do that, I've got so much more energy from other people, whereas for other people, for the things that I want to do. So they're breaking out of that idea that I have to be doing, exhausting myself and self-sacrificing myself. So when they stop doing that, they begin to see that that works. It's a much better way forward to take care of yourself first. So they start to really enjoy life again. And as they start to develop a sense of calm, a sense of inner confidence, a sort of centered sense of confidence, where their confidence is really centered within them. And from there, there's no longer a need to defend yourself and to constantly feel like you're treading water just to keep your head above the water, but actually you're heading towards something that you really want, that really motivates you, and the energy just comes because it's something you really want to do, and instead of feeling constantly burdened under the sense of obligation of another thing that you have to do that's going to exhaust you. So their energy returns, their relationships improve, their health improves, and they start to step into knowing what they really, step towards their desire. What's really interesting, what happens is that when people start to come out of their overthinking and into their bodies and start to know what they really want, their clarity as to what they really want. I mean, a lot of people come to me saying, I don't know what it is I really want. I just know I don't really want life to be like this and to feel such a struggle. And I just have a sense there's something, but I don't know what it really is. But as we go through the work, and as they become more confident, centered in themselves, the clarity starts to come. And then it's like, that's the thing that I want. So those are the sorts of changes that I see in my clients as we work through.
Yeah, lovely. And you talked about some of the things that you do specifically, which are unique to your service. So did you want to just tell us about those?
So one of the ways where one of the places that I really understand can give people a sense of what's possible and who they really are is through mountain biking. Mountain biking is my passion. I love sports which I call flow sports. So I don't know if you might have heard of the flow state, but the flow state is something that you often experience in outdoor adventure sports like skiing, like snowboarding, like mountain biking, and it's just this sense of it's quite hard to like. It takes a lot of words to describe exactly what it feels, but unless you just like, it's that sense when you just, where it's just like, yes, that's such fun. You know, you're whizzing down a hill and it's just like, ah, yes. And it's basically, it's when you're just pushing the edge of your comfort zone and it's something really challenging, and you weren't sure if you could achieve it. You had to be willing to step into the face of your fear, not to scare yourself to bits, but just step out of your comfort zone, and you do something, and the thrill that you get when you're using the fact that you have capability in that sport. So you have to have some basic capability in it. And it's just like you're not using your conscious mind anymore. You're just going with the bike and the trail and feeling the sensations in your body, and all of that is just working together seamlessly. And yeah, as I say, it seems to come from a sort of bigger place. You seem to be a sort of connected to a bigger place because you're not thinking it through. The moment you engage your brain again and start thinking, which way am I going to go? Which tree am I going to hit? Oh, I better avoid that rock. You've had it. You're going to fall off. You're going to fluff it. And this brings such a powerful parallel with how the shift that we need to make in our lives when we want to move from a place of struggling and feeling exhausted to a more inspired place where we're motivated and excited and fulfilled by what we're doing. It's just the same shift. But what I tend to find is, because the experience into which I'm inviting people is something that they haven't experienced before, when I describe it, they find it quite hard to know what I'm talking about unless they've already experienced it. Whereas I can get people on the bike and I can say, right, this is what we're going to do, and this is the things that you're going to try to connect with. Like, for example, it might be connect to I get them to think of their really happy place to be and who they know they are in that happy place. So even if it's, I love cooking in the kitchen, I feel so energetic, I feel inspired, I feel creative, and then get them to connect to that vision, and those words that represent who they really are in their best, and connecting to that feeling while they're riding their bikes. And the difference, immediately the body relaxes, a sense of fun comes in, and they find this flow, and immediately they're like, I get this, So, when somebody tries to put a concept across to you, which I suppose I'm trying to do right now in words, sometimes it's difficult to get the hang of it. But when you put somebody in a situation where they can immediately feel it for themselves, no explaining is necessary, they just get it. So that's why I'm, really excited about using mountain biking to be able to help people move to this new sort of paradigm, this new way of doing things where they can really connect with who they really are and their full potential.
Wonderful. That sounds really exhilarating and exciting. So, yeah, and I love that.
For me, there's nothing better than to see people's faces who come to the bottom of the trail and they're just like, oh, wow, I'm strong and I'm powerful and I feel I could do anything. And that's what people say to me. They're like, I feel I could literally do anything. And I think the reason why I'm so excited about doing this work with women is because as women, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, there's this narrative about women being a little bit vulnerable, a little bit weak, and not really into getting muddy or dirty or just being, just not up to doing, stuff like mountain biking, which you need to be strong and capable for, and, strong mentally as well. So when people do stuff and then, like that, and then they come to the end of the trail and they're like, it's almost like the illusion just shatters. It's just like, it's in bits and in broken pieces on the ground. It's like this idea of me being weak and vulnerable is just gone because it's clearly not true. And I love seeing that happen. Literally, I love seeing it happen. There's no greater pleasure.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to be able to take an experience like that, something real life, because we do, when we're in training, we try to create an experience, isn't it, so that people can, attach to something to make those shifts. And so that's a really wonderful combination that you've got going on there. And so how can people get in contact with you now, Liz?
So I have a website, which is lizgilmore.com. And on there is details of my one-to-one coaching, that sort of work coaching, sort of moving towards your potential, but also the work that I'm doing with mountain biking. So I'm doing mountain bike courses locally to me in Scotland, in Perth, but I'm also creating online courses which are going to be available for people anywhere so that they can, where we'll talk you through, okay, if this is intended for people who've already they're already riding their bikes.
Yep.
And they want to go, and it's not about learning techniques, but it's about going out there and then learning the mindset to be able to go and do more on your bike, and then apply how you will then apply that to in your life to make these shifts. So
yeah.
My website's probably best. You can also find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and maybe we can put the links to that in with this video when we post it.
Absolutely, we'll definitely put that down in the comments for people to, or the section below or above wherever we post it. You're right, so people can click on those links and really get in contact with you easily. And so thanks very much for being here today and for sharing that exciting new way of learning for people. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. It's been fun.